Good afternoon to all the good viewers of this program who are watching this program with us on a weekly basis. This is our English portion. Our Persian program, we ran into a little bit of a difficulty. In the middle of my program, YouTube decided to kick us out and we had to come back in again. So hopefully it doesn't do that here, but I've put the link for anyone who wants to watch it live in Telegram. And I am also going to view it with you. And so give me a second to go into share screen so we can share the latest news from this week with you and go over what's going on. So at the very beginning, we're going to start with World War III and what we see happening this week as far as wanting to move towards World War III as far as the globalist plan. Some of the people in the government of Finland, which is next to Russia, this week they came out and they said that European countries need to support Ukraine more, and even as far as to send troops to defend Ukraine from Russia, because they worry that if Ukraine falls, then Russia will continuously come and eat more countries in Europe. We also saw that last week, Sweden joined NATO, and Sweden's another country beside Russia. And trust me, Putin is very, very, extremely happy that Sweden is part of NATO, because now he can go on and give you this crocodile tear about how the injustice that's happening to him and the Russia, and now the European countries, they just want to corner him and control him and bully him. And I'm sure some Tucker Carlsons are going to be found who are going to come and, play the violin for him. So he can, give you some crocodile tears about how the injustice is affecting him. Okay. I don't see any of the NATO countries invading a Russian friendly country and say, yeah, well, we're taking them over because if we don't, Russia will have more power. I mean, we don't see him doing anything like that. But we do see Russia doing that. Russia does that even with its own friendly countries, It invaded Belarus before. It invaded Bulgaria before. It pretty much runs Iran as it feels and wants. Moldova, all those countries, they're all one way or another under the iron fist of Russia, under the KGB man himself, Putin, who's nothing more than just the slave of the globalists. But this week, the bigger news, South Africa. South Africa says all its dual citizens who are also citizens of Israel, and all those are Jews, by the way, and Jews, no matter where you live, when you become of age, you have to go into military service and do your time in the military, after which you'll be put on the reserve if you don't want to join the military. And in case of great threat of war, they call back the reserve to help their small army. So the South Africans who are in the reserve and have to go and fight for the homeland of all the Jews and are defending the homeland of all the Jews because the Jews got attacked by a bunch of terrorists who happen to live next door to them in a city called Gaza, who are all Arabs, but pretend that they are not Arabs and that they are Palestinians, who ironically, the Palestinians were all massacred and killed by the Arabs 1,000 years ago, closer to 1,400 years ago. and that there is no more Palestinian, ethnically real Palestinian left in that whole entire area, because Palestinians came from the island of Crete, which makes them Greek. So they should be speaking some kind of Greek dialect, not Arabic. They should be dressing more like a person from Greece, not an Arab from Saudi Arabia. They should be having a culture similar to the people of Greece, not an Arab culture similar to Saudi Arabia. They should have a religion similar to the people of Greece, not the Islamic ideology that supposedly came out of Saudi Arabia, which it really didn't. But that's a whole different story and a different program that we do on Islam that you need to go and look at. But in any case, South Africa says that these dual citizen Jews that are in the reserve and are from South Africa, the minute they come back to South Africa, they're going to be arrested and thrown into prison for killing Palestinians in Palestine, a country that has never existed, and a people that have all been killed under genocide by the invading Islamic Arab army that now sits there with a bunch of Arabs pretending to be something they're not. Then the foreign minister of South Africa, Naledi Pandor, big black woman, decides to say that the South African citizens must go and protest in front of 5 big country embassies who back Israel. So she didn't mention them by name, but we can all take guesses, you know. There are a bunch of names I'm going to give you. You take a guess and put whoever you want in there. United States, Britain, France, Germany. We'll throw Argentina in there because, you know, they're supporting them. We'll throw Netherlands in there because they're supporting them. Well, I gave you 6 names. You pick 5. Whichever 5 you like. Because she didn't give us the names. I don't think she knows the names. She just said it because, you know, 5 looks like a good number. We'll throw a good 5 out there and it'll make her look like she knows something. But in reality, she doesn't know anything. That's the old tricks. See, in the third world countries, they like to use tricks like that. They throw a number at you instead of the name of a country that they're talking about. So then you start to think on your own. Is it this one? Is it that one? Is it this one? So when you go and do something, you create chaos. This is all about chaos. Create chaos, get the people in a frenzy, and then we can move to the next level after that, you know, which is attack the embassies, you know, take it a step further and, you know, attack the people that are in the country who might be there as tourists from those countries, you know, do stuff like that. South Africa has been known for years, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 10, not 20, but decades of working hand in hand with the Islamic Republic of Iran. When the Islamic Republic of Iran wants to do its money laundering, it goes through South Africa. When Islamic Republic of Iran has a ban on its oil and it can't sell it and it needs to sell it, it does so under the ships that have the flag of South Africa. When Islamic Republic of Iran wants to take the money that the government of Iran, the same Islamic Republic, has allocated for example, building cell phone towers and bringing in cell phone chips and bringing in cell phones itself and, you know, having cell phones for the people, but they want it at a lower price so they can take most of that money and put it in their own pockets. and they need someone they can bribe to come and say they're going to give it a good discount. And then if it doesn't work, who cares? It's the people that will suffer, but the money's already been laundered and passed through from their pockets to the South African to another foreign account somewhere in Switzerland, for example, or Bahamas or wherever else. The South Africans are there to help Islamic Republic of Iran. South Africa also has a small but sizable Muslim population that for decades on has been created and brought up, brainwashed to become Muslim terrorists. Ahmad Didat, the big Ahmad Didat, who used to go around and have debates with Christian preachers who did not know anything about Islam. And his debate was about Islam and Christianity. And he would hit them with one after another sayings of his from what he wants to say Islam says, which were always twisted. You know, he would say something and then the poor pastor he's dealing with doesn't know anything about Islam and wouldn't be able to defend himself against what he's hearing. And it would sound like as if there was a victory for Ahmad Didat. And then afterwards he would teach, yes, these are all infidels and whatnot. You know, Dr. Zakir Naik's teacher, Ahmad Didat, he lived in South Africa before he died. So South Africa is pushing and beating the drums of war today for a country that wants to create that war in the African continent so that the African continent can also move a step closer to this world war that we're seeing. The next link over here is for seniors of Hamas and seniors of the Houthis in Yemen. They're meeting together to come up with and coordinate actions against Israel. So they're planning on the war with Israel, how they can unite, how they can attack Israel better. Because in Gaza, the Hamas terrorist organization and Islamic Jihad and the rest, they're suffering right now. They're losing this war, and it looks like they might be eradicated soon. Hence, they're trying to do everything. But why would Iran want to try to save Hamas when they know Hamas is about to be eradicated? Well, the whole idea is Yemen cannot send any kind of terrorist troops to Israel because they're over 1,000 kilometers distance. So what can Yemen do? Yemen can shoot more missiles into the Red Sea at ships they think are owned by Jews. So that this way they can try to get the attention of the international community and maybe pull the Jewish government to focus on Yemen so that Lebanon and that big rat, Nasrallah, who hides under the tunnels, he can survive because they know very well the people of Israel living in northern Israel have all left their homes because of missiles that come in every day and have been coming in every day since October 7th till today. Don't hit them and kill them. A lot of people's homes have been damaged completely. The people can only come back when those missiles no longer fly into Israel on a daily basis. Which means once Gaza's finished, once all terrorists have been eradicated, Israel has no choice but to take the fight to Lebanon and the Hezbollah of Lebanon, led by Rat Nasrallah. And because Iran wants to save Rat Nasrallah, they hope to prolong this on the other side and pull Israel further south to a country they're not neighbored with so that they can prolong the life of Rat Nasrallah. But that's not going to work because Israel already knows its next target is Rat Nasrallah and has to take them out in order to safeguard its people. Rat Nasrallah has two conditions. Either him and his whole Hezbollah terrorist organization have to be eradicated, or it has to be sent to northern Lebanon, far enough where their missiles won't be a threat, and that there is no more missiles being given to them through Syria and Iraq from the terrorist organizations in Iran, mainly the IRGC, the Sepah. And by doing that, they can save themselves. So those are the two plans that Israel currently has to abide on. So this plan that the terrorists are coming up with is going to fail. The next one is the link right here. The sheriff of Palm Beach County, Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, he's a Democratic sheriff, but he's showing that he's got the guts to stand up, which means that if one Democrat is standing up, other Democrats are standing up. A lot of Democrats are now going to be standing up. And he gave his report. He says, I'm just here to deliver a message. He's saying that because he doesn't want those woke idiots who support Joe Biden to come and say, oh, he's changing. He doesn't want to be a Democrat no more. He's becoming Republican. Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago is in the same area in this Palm Beach. He is Donald Trump's sheriff. He must have become a MAGA. He must have become a part of the society of the new Republicans. No, he wants to put a stop to all of that nonsense. He's saying, I'm just here to deliver a message. What is the message about? The kidnapping that happened to the woman, followed by the rape of the same woman, the catching of the 3 people that were all from Venezuela, all from a gang in Venezuela. And he's telling you about what's going on at the border, the Mexican border, and also the border of Florida through the waters. Okay. It talks about the illegals that are coming over. It tells you about how in Venezuela, they're clearing up their prisons and they're loading up all their prisoners and they're sending them all to Florida. This works out for Venezuela. They don't have to feed these people. They don't need to pay for the lights, the electricity, the gas, the heat, the water, the food, the clothing, nothing. Clear out the whole prison, send them over here so that the Americans can pay for it. The Americans will give them a card where they can use that card for money. They'll give them clothing. They'll provide transportation and a whole list of other stuff that Joe Biden has allocated for them and tells you, the American public, that you must pay. The Senate has to approve the funding so that he can redirect that funding to these illegals who are coming over the border so they can use that funding to beat up on police officers, abduct your women, rape them and kill them as they see fit, steal from your stores, attack your homes, invade your properties, practically do whatever they want, kick your kids out of school so they can use it as they see needed. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are second-class citizens in your own country of the United States of America to a bunch of people who were prisoners in their own countries who are now here living as king and queens. They don't need to work. They don't need to show ID when they fly. They don't need to do nothing. Sheriff Bradshaw continues to tell you that amongst the 3 million that we've caught, and he even tells you, according to the reports of the FBI themselves, says that the people coming over here are from dangerous gangs in Venezuela that make MS-13 look like school kids, meaning they're so dangerous that MS-13 would look like, a little chihuahua. You just pick it up and you can handle it. It's not a ferocious beast. And he says these are amongst the 3 million that have come over that we see and we can somehow talk to and make some kind of a documentation about, because we're not allowed to really make a documentation, but at least we can tell, okay, this guy came and that's what he looked like. But he says the 1.5 million that they cannot catch that have invaded Florida, those people, he says, are amongst people that have left ISIS, used to be part of ISIS and other terrorist organizations, who have now come into the country, and they are even more dangerous because they're capable of doing what others have not done. He talks about the Haitians that are coming over. Some of these Haitians are human eaters. Some of them, majority of them, about 95% of the people that live in Haiti, they are into black magic. They worship Satan. They worship the demons. They worship all that stuff. In Haiti, the big business is working for the cartel. But they don't go to work for the cartel like they wake up tomorrow and say, that's it, I've decided I want to join the cartel. No, they don't do it that way. You see, in Haiti, they like to create something they call zombie bodies, where they drug you so that when you are under the influence of the drug, you appear to have died, but you're still alive. And the pathologist will mistakenly say you've died so that they can bury you. But once you're buried, about half an hour later, they'll come and dig you out, the people that have drugged you. Then they will give you a different drug that will set off the symptoms of the first drug. Hence, you are no longer under the symptoms of the first drug and you're back alive. But because you've already been given a death certificate by your government, people will then think you've come back to life as a zombie. And they don't understand that you've been drugged and the effects of the drug have been weared off by the next drug. Most of the people living in Asia today, they are all uneducated or low educated. These are people who are not the brightest of them all. They don't have the high IQs. If you take an IQ test from them, they will fail miserably, because unlike people here, they have not had the proper education to go on. They are people that are very, very, very extremely superstitious. They believe in little things that you tell them and the people in the society tells them. Like they'll take a stone, any stone. You find a stone under a cave, in the water, wherever. You bring a stone, you tell them, oh, this stone will save you from this and that and the other, and they'll just jump on it and, oh, yeah. But then they'll tell them, well, you can't just have the stone by itself. You got to do some white magic with it. Then they'll slowly pull him from white magic to black magic and so on. And they'll start to get him going. These people fall for stuff like that. And hence, once you've become a zombie person, well, as a zombie human being, you can't go back to work because you're supposed to be dead. You can't go and rent a place. Your family members will run from you. So the people that drug you, they come along, they tell you, listen, man, we'll find a job for you. We'll feed you until then. You'll get on your feet. And then they hand you over to the cartels. They'll say, look, man, we're setting you up with these people. They're fine people. And the cartels will use you as a mule. Because some of the people that work at the borders, as far as checking what comes into the country and what goes out of the country, some of them are fine people that you can't bribe, and they do their job. Due diligence is the top of the line. But others, they're paid for. You can buy them. And they'll gladly say, we have a quota. We got to hit our quota. Cartel will say, how much you need? Oh, I need to find someone with 10 kilos to make it look good for the month. You got it. They send the mule with that amount. They give you the description, the day when he's coming, what he's wearing, blah, blah, blah. You allow that person to come into your airport, or you allow them to drive through the border, or whichever way they're coming, and you catch them because you already know who you're looking for. You already know what time they're coming. So you even know what time to look for them. Now you catch the guy, you take a bunch of pictures, you show all the drugs the guy had, and then you say, you see, we did our job. Your boss comes and gives you a pat on the back. Good job, man. Good job. You're doing an awesome job. Fine job you did. Yep, good job. And then an hour later, they'll send the tractor trailer carrying 100 kilo of the same drug, and that will pass right through. These mules are needed. Once this mule is caught, for the next 20 years, he's going to sit in an American prison where the taxpayers of the United States will pay for his food, for the warmth, for the AC, for the electricity the guy needs, for the clothing he'll need while he's inside the prison. And after 20 years, they'll kick him out where the cartel will be waiting for him. And the cartel will tell him, well, you can't go back and work anymore because you're a zombie and you did bad stuff. But you know what? This time we'll make sure you don't get caught. Now we're going to send you on a flight to Spain, because most of the flights going out of South America will go to Spain. We'll send you that way, and this way you won't get caught. But lo and behold, shame on him. He's still a mule. He's going to carry 20 kilos on the flight, and when he gets to Spain, they're going to catch him, and now he's in prison for life on the taxpayers of Spain. This is how the trick and the business is run. But what they've also noticed, they're also noticing, as we go to the next link down here, these are the 3 gang members from Venezuela that were caught with the rape and the abduction. That's Sheriff Bradshaw. But we've also noticed, here is the link, the next link. Both Sheriff Bradshaw are talking about this, and so is the person in charge of the Air Force of the United States. There you see him in his picture down there. Majority of the people that are coming in, ages between 22 and 35, they've noticed that under their shoe, they have a piece of carpet glued onto their shoe, so that when they walk, it doesn't leave any tracks. So it'll be harder for the police to catch them when they commit a crime. Because why else would you put carpet under your shoe so that your shoe doesn't make any marks? Putting carpet under the shoe is something that most militaries and terrorist organizations do around the world. We see it done over here. What they've also found alarming is that in the last month, we've seen over 1,000 drones come into our border from the south. Meaning the people that are coming in, they're bringing their drones with them. Why do you need a drone? I came to this country in a legal way, not illegal way. I spent close to $30,000 to come over here. Pay the government, pay the lawyers, pay this thing, pay that thing, file this file, do that thing, do this thing, do that thing. You know, I paid my dues. I worked hard every day. I made money so I can pay these bills. I didn't come here with a drone. Who needs a drone? I mean, people can say, well, some people in their free time, they like to fly a drone around in a park. Well, these guys are not those guys because they left their country supposedly for a better life over here. They don't have free time. You don't have free time to walk from country to country and go through the country. The guy who's walking through countries doesn't bring drones. That guy is more worried about where he's going to get his next meal because he doesn't have a job. He's walking. He's worried about where he's going to rest his head at nighttime. He's worried about who might pick his pocket along the way. They might be worried about who might try to rape them along the way, who might try to drug them along the way. They're worried about, are they able to pass the next checkpoint from city to city in some of these countries along the way? They don't have time to think about, am I going to fly a drone? The people that are bringing the drone, they're up to no good. They're coming here with a purpose. That drone is so that they can spy in your neighborhood. Which houses are easiest to attack? Where do people live that we've been told will get big money for in order to assassinate them and terrorize them? Which houses have a lot of dogs that will bark and set off the neighborhood watch and people will be able to notice we're there so we can avoid them? What areas are not well looked after that we can attack in the government or whatever and cause a big, huge terrorist scene? That is what drones are used for. And only God knows how many of these drones also have capability of having a small rocket or missile attached to it, or you can just attach a homemade type device so that you can just blow it up. Alarming stuff. But you don't hear that in the news. No, we don't talk about that. We can't tell you how threatening the reality of these illegals coming in, especially from Muslim countries, where they've been doing this for years, terrorizing the people, killing the innocent, cutting off their heads, and now we're coming over here, former ISIS members, Hezbollah members, all of those people are here. The Iranian terrorists that belong to Sepah and other groups in Iran under the watchful eye of cockroach Ali Khamenei, they're all coming here. The regular citizens of Iran are not coming here. They don't have the money to pay for cartels. The ones that are coming over here are the one with the money. The money belongs to the government. Only the government and its family has the money. They don't tell you that part. They don't say that the worst are coming here. They tell you a bunch of Mexicans and, some people from some countries like Colombia are coming here, or someone from Peru is coming here, and they need a help. And when they show you the picture of them going to a school, they show you a picture of just some average people with the little kid. And, oh, well, you know, they don't tell you who really is coming in here. And then the next link brings us to Fani Willis and her lover, allegedly Nathan Wade. Well, according to the judge, he ruled and passed some judgment. Number one, if the case wants to go through, then either Nathan Wade has to be pushed aside so he can be the lawyer for the government, or he can stay, but Fani Willis has to give up her position as district attorney and she has to step aside. And we all know she's not stepping aside, which means Nathan Wade, you're fired. Other than that, 6 of the charges, there's many charges, but there were 6 of the many charges that were dropped by the judge. 3 of them pertain to President Donald Trump directly, and the other 3 pertain to others who worked for Trump who are also being charged. Amongst the 3 charges that were dropped for Donald Trump, the most important was the telephone call. You know, that telephone call, which, as usual, they cut parts of what Donald Trump says and they don't give you the rest, so you don't get the context of it. They just give you some words that he said, and then they make a mockery out of the words that they told you that he said. You remember the phone conversation where he's asking for some ballots. Can you find, what was it, 500, 6,000, whatever it was, ballots that he was telling the governor at the time in Georgia. Can you just find, remember they play that part and they don't play the rest. They don't put it in context that he's talking about the ballots that they feel could have been fake, and going through those and finding those and seeing if those are real or not. And if they do, they could probably find that they could be fake and be thrown out. And that would really help his case. No, they don't tell you that part. They just say he's looking for it. He wants it. Well, that got thrown out by the judge because the judge listened to it and he's like, this is ridiculous and it has to be thrown out. And that's the biggest portion, because for this case that they're building about insurrection, that was going to be a big stepping stone that he's been trying different ways, and that's led him to eventually do insurrection, because no one wakes up overnight and does insurrection. So in order to get him on an insurrection, they have to show that, you know, he went through a road leading to insurrection. But this was a big stepping stone, and it flew back in the face of the Democrats. As usual, they're lying, cheating, stealing, hook by every crook. Ideology is falling apart. And then we have Fani Willis. Yes, Fani Willis. You all remember when she ran up to sit there and give her testimony when they didn't even call her name? And she had to jump there, and when she went on to give her testimony, she dressed in her dress backwards. As you can see from this picture, you see these long sleeve type things that are coming from the side where her ribs are. This normally is from the back. It starts from the back and you pull it forward and it wraps around the whole dress and you tie it from the front. Another reason why you can tell that this dress is backwards is the shoulder pads. You see the shoulder pads? When you wear the dress properly, the shoulder pad should fall directly on top of your shoulder, and it should stop where your arm starts. Now, if you, all these suits people wear have shoulder pads a little bit, But for the women, it has more because the women, their shoulders are smaller. So to give it a nicer look, they make the pad bigger. When you wear it backwards, that shoulder pad is going to slide down on your arm, or it's going to end up in your back. And here you can see it slid all the way down her arm over her tricep. It's coming down the side and slightly down. If her hand was not here, in other pictures you can find her, the back of this dress comes all the way up to your neck, but the front of it comes downwards. It would come slightly below where my bow tie is. But if you see the same picture that she has without her hand up pointing to people, you'll see that the way she's wore this dress, the front has come directly under her neck, and her back has a big showing gap, which would have been for women for the front, right in front of their chest, between the neck and the breasts. That area is normally shown. So she's wore her dress backwards. With that, we'll bring the session for this week to an end. If you like our programs, ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge favor. Click on the subscribe button with your finger. Under the link tree that we have set up for you under this program, click on that, join us or join me by following me in all the different social medias that I'm in, Twitter, Telegram, Instagram, wherever else, Facebook. The more you subscribe to this program, the more we can make the YouTube algorithms push this program so that it can reach new people who don't know about us, so we can enlighten them. We can make them aware of what's really going on so that they can protect themselves properly. I suggest to everyone living in the West that you should invest in getting yourself at least a good watchdog, if not a good guard dog. If you can get more than one, by all means do so. Go to the shelters and pick them up. You can always train them. They will benefit you in the shortcoming future greatly when these people start attacking people's homes and trying to kill people and create theft, unrest, terrorist ideology. Your dog will inform you and you will protect yourself. So invest in some dogs, protect yourself, your family, and your children. Until tomorrow's program, I leave all of you in the hands of Jesus.